Hello everyone, good afternoon and welcome to SAVE, a TV show that's brought to you today by Citizens Against Family Violence. I'm Jessica Plasters, the Patrick County Victim Advocate.
And I'm Sandy Dawson, the Martinsville, Henry County Sexual Assault Case Manager and Victim Advocate as well. I've got a mouthful.
All right, with us today we have a very special guest from the Southern Virginia Child Advocacy Center. So we're going to let her, introduce herself and tell us about that agency and what her role there is.
Okay. My name is Emma Beneke, and I am the Child Forensic Interview Specialist at the Southern Virginia Child Advocacy Center in Rocky Mount.
Got a mouthful too.
Yeah, I got a mouthful too. In our role, we respond to child abuse and allegations of child abuse and neglect through treatment, advocacy, prevention, and education. And we do facilitate a multidisciplinary response to child abuse in Franklin County. Our primary service area is Franklin County, but we do whatever we can to support surrounding areas. And as a forensic interviewer, I occasionally do forensic interviews as courtesy for other counties.
Okay, you just mentioned forensic interviewer, so tell us about that. What is that work?
Okay, a forensic interview is a developmentally sensitive way of questioning a child about allegations of abuse or neglect. And that could be sexual abuse, it could be physical abuse, or it could be that the child has witnessed some form of violence. And so it's a way of gathering that information that's investigatively sound, and of course the most important part of that is that it's developmentally sensitive.
Okay, so these are recorded interviews?
Mm-hmm. They're recorded interviews. We have state-of-the-art recording equipment in an interview room with a one-way mirror that goes to an observation room. So another part of forensic interviewing is that it's done with a multidisciplinary approach. So while I conduct an interview, then we have law enforcement investigators and Child Protective Services investigators who observe the interview and can have input in what the child is asked.
So when you say developmentally sensitive, explain that to me.
Well, every child is different.
Right.
And so forensic interview training always includes a component of child development. And understanding kind of a child's attention span, understanding what different age groups may be most comfortable with, what kind of language to use when you're addressing a child at different developmental stages. Does that answer your question?
It does. It does.
I was going to ask that too. But
So when you all are doing your work there, can people just walk in off the street and make a report?
Well, we offer information about the resources in the community to anybody who comes in. We have a prevention specialist who provides family advocacy to anybody who comes in for any reason. If we have general inquiries from the community, then we certainly refer them to whatever agency might be most appropriate. If folks come in and want to talk to us about concerns that a child's been abused or that a child's experienced some kind of abuse, neglect, or witnessed violence, then we do encourage them to contact local law enforcement and the local Department of Social Services and to call the state hotline to report child abuse. If a family is not comfortable doing that, then we'll certainly take down the information and make that report ourselves, as we are mandated reporters. But we'll do whatever we can for families who just walk in.
Mm-hmm.
So what other things take place at the Advocacy Center besides the forensic interviews? There's any type of therapy or any type of things that are offered there?
We have the resource office for our multidisciplinary team in Franklin County, which is called the Child Abuse Review Team, and that meets twice a month.
Okay.
We have 11 agencies that sit on the team, and those team members can refer children to the roster for our multidisciplinary team. And we are able to facilitate therapeutic services and other services for children whose names are on that roster. And so in our facility, we have a family therapy room and a child play therapy room, and so we're able to get therapeutic services for children and their non-offending caregivers at our center.
Oh, that's awesome.
So you have other agencies that come in and use the facility as well?
We do. We primarily work with law enforcement and the Department of Social Services, but for therapeutic services, we contract with a number of counseling agencies that are in Franklin County and the Roanoke area, and many of them also serve Martinsville and Henry County.
Okay. So do they just come in and use the facility, or do y'all have actual people that, or therapists that provide the play therapy there through the Child Advocacy Center?
Right. So let me clarify that. We have contracts with them, so they don't necessarily work at our Child Advocacy Center every day, but we have space for them to sit and work and do their documentation or whatever else they need to do while they're on site, and they do see the children on site at our center.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes more sense now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when, I know the times that I've been involved with the Child Advocacy Center, it actually came about that I was an advocate on a case from Patrick County, and we came into the facility, and I actually sat in the front in the little lobby area with the family. I haven't had the time to be in the forensic part. Can you tell us more about the facility? I know when I first go in, there's a little lobby area with toys and everything so that the family and the kids can just sit and wait while whoever's being interviewed. What else would someone find there?
Well, we have, I think I didn't mention, we also house the CASA program for Franklin County, or the Court-Appointed Special Advocate Program. So, of course, our Director of Volunteer Services, who oversees that program, has her own office space. We have 2 staff devoted to our CASA program. It's 1 full-time and 1 part-time, and we have 27 CASA volunteers.
Wow.
And so they often will use our facility for either report writing or meeting with family members or other people involved in their cases on which they're advocating for children. We have a prevention office where we have many resources available for families who come in, a lot of educational information for the community. And so you'd find all of that on our first floor, which we kind of address as our general services floor. And our second floor is more of our victim services floor, so that's where you would find our forensic interview room, the observation room. We also have a medical room. We work with Carilion Franklin Memorial Hospital, and their forensic nurse examiner can come and conduct medical examinations on children where there have been allegations of abuse.
Okay. So they can actually do the forensic exams in the facility instead of at the hospital.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
And that would be Stephanie Hodges, right?
Stephanie
We
Hodges,
had her
right.
here as one of our guests
Yeah.
previously.
Oh, fantastic. It's wonderful. We really love to work with her, and sometimes it works out that she can observe the forensic interview and then conduct a medical evaluation, and so that really makes the process much smoother for the child and the family, and that way she's already kind of gathered some preliminary information that will help with her medical part of it.
Well, that's really good. Probably makes it more comfortable for the children. For the exam's not comfortable anyhow, but to have it there instead of at the hospital, it probably is more comfortable for the family and the child, I would say.
Yeah.
I know initially when I first became acquainted with the Child Advocacy Center, I heard all about the decor upstairs, that it's very child-friendly. Can you describe that?
Yeah, we have a kind of beach and ocean theme throughout the facility.
I want to go there.
I do too.
So,
I can't go on a vacation right now, so maybe I'll just go to Franklin County.
yeah, it's great. I don't even need to go on
We
vacation.
need
so
therapy.
there you go. But we have murals that have been painted by many community members. We've had some art students from the Franklin County school system who've come in. We've had students from Ferrum College who helped paint murals in the building. And now we have a setup where all of our interns who come through from the local colleges and universities will make sure they do a mural before they leave. So we're constantly adding to the artwork.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
So I'm going to
pretty
take a day
cool.
off this week and go
I know,
visit.
we
I'm
need to
gonna go
see
check it out.
this. So, you said that you're a forensic interviewer specialist. Is that your correct title? I was trying to make sure I got all of the name on there correct. What did you do to prepare for that type of work?
Well, my background is in social work, so I have my bachelor's degree and my master's in social work, and I think that my background definitely prepared me for this work. But I specifically, for forensic interviewing, have been to 2 different training programs for that. I've been to the National Children's Advocacy Center in Huntsville, Alabama, and been trained on the National Children's Advocacy Center forensic interview structure. And then I've also been trained in the Child First model, or RATAC is what some people refer to that as. And there are a number of other models of forensic interviewing, and I think it just varies from one community to the next what works best.
Well, I know that the Child First training is what is utilized in Patrick County, and I think beginning to be utilized in Martinsville and Henry County as well.
Would that be the most popular one for Virginia area?
Yeah, I'd say that's most used in Virginia, and that, of course, that training is offered in Virginia, so it's
Right.
most accessible here. Yeah.
So when you are working with clients, you primarily are working with children, or do you ever work with anyone older?
I primarily work with children, but as a an interview specialist, then I can conduct an interview on any child who's under 18 years old. So any child
Okay.
who's verbal and can, who's not an adult. So as far as interviewing, as a staff person at the Child Advocacy Center, of course, I respond in any way necessary to general inquiries or do whatever I need to do to make sure that our services are as good as they can be.
So when you've worked with anyone under 18, have you had more like under the age of like 12 and under, or more 13 to 18, or is it about equally balanced?
I'd say the interviews that I've conducted have been more frequently with children who are 12 and under, but we definitely receive referrals for children who are teenagers and as old as 17 years old.
So I guess that's when you have to be really challenged to make sure that you're handling, like you were talking about before, being developmentally sensitive, you know, to make sure that you're able to flex to whether it's a younger child versus a teenager.
Well, I can imagine working with 3 and 4 or 5-year-olds could be really difficult to get their attention span, or to, I mean, their attention span is not that long.
And to maintain a conversation as
Right.
well.
Yeah, I would definitely say that's true. And I think with children as young as 3 years old, some of them, their attention spans as short as 15 minutes.
Yeah.
And so you really have to be attentive and be aware of where they are, and also be aware of when they're getting tired and when they can't sit and talk to you anymore.
So do y'all use tools while you're in there, such as like do y'all draw pictures, or what are those dolls they have? And I've seen them in court a couple
The
times.
forensic dolls.
Yeah. We do, when I'm conducting interviews, I often, you have an easel board, and I do a lot of drawing, especially with younger children.
Right.
And that can also be helpful for older children. If there have been multiple occasions for them that are multiple instances of abuse, creating a timeline or something like that can be useful for an older child. So I use that with all ages. And we also use anatomically correct diagrams, which are pictures of children, and then we also use the anatomically correct dolls like you were referring to earlier. Yeah.
That long word.
So.
So when I see the name Southern Virginia Child Advocacy Center, to me, I kind of think that you all handle the whole entire region of Southern Virginia. That's a pretty broad area. Do you all actually work the whole entire Southern Virginia area?
Well, our primary service area is Franklin County, and so most of our funding is designated kind of for us to serve Franklin County. But again, we'll do courtesy interviews for any county, and if there's ever a county that is looking for support in developing a multidisciplinary team, then we'd be happy to give whatever information that we can, or sit down and have conversations.
Mm-hmm.
So what kind of members from the community are a part of the team?
Well, our primary members are law enforcement from Franklin County and the town of Rocky Mount, the Franklin County Department of Social Services. We have the Commonwealth Attorney's Office in Franklin County also, who sits on the team, and Carilion Franklin Memorial Hospital, I mentioned them. We have counselors who serve children who sit on the multidisciplinary team. We have school counselors, and we have the Franklin County Family Resource Center. Their advocates also sit on our team. And I'm sure there's somebody I've left off. We have a number of community members that serve children and families in different capacities, and everyone kind of has a different perspective of what's going on within the community and within the families that we serve, and so it's really
good.
great.
They can all come together, and
Yeah.
it works very well.
Yeah.
I know we have a great team in Patrick County as well, but y'all team seems a little larger, and it sounds like it works really well for y'all.
So how long has the Southern Virginia Child Advocacy Center actually been there?
Well, we've had services that have been around since 1993, and in 2001 we were accredited as a child advocacy center. So the first program that existed originally was the Franklin County CASA program, and so that kind of moved out into a nonprofit umbrella, whereas it used to be under the Franklin County government, and then we kind of have grown from there. Joyce Moran is our executive officer, and she's been with us since, or has really grown the agency from the ground up since 1993.
So it takes a while to get something like this going, but it definitely can happen with everybody playing their parts together. So Sounds like
Absolutely.
it's
Well,
came a
that's
long
good
way.
that she's been instrumental in carrying through that program and developing the relationships like you were talking about earlier with all the different agencies.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we have a great team, but it's been here for a long time in Franklin County, and I think it can take a long time to build those relationships, but it's a really beautiful thing when everyone can come together and make sure that children get the services that they need.
So do y'all have any, I think you said earlier, I think you did, about y'all have monthly meetings or something like that to, I guess, share information and about cases. Is that what y'all do? Y'all have monthly meetings to share information about what's going on within the...
We do. We have our Child Abuse Review team meets twice monthly, and I think I've got some of our statistics here. Last year we had 246 children who were served on our roster. So again, anybody who's on the team can refer children or families to the multidisciplinary team roster, and then those cases can be reviewed by everybody on the team, and they meet twice monthly.
So is that what you mean when you say they're put on the roster? It
Right.
just means that you're ongoing reviewing their progress?
Right. And so we may not review every child at every multidisciplinary team meeting, but we'll review a certain portion of the roster, and anytime anybody has some concerns about what's going on with the child, then they can bring that up and the team will discuss it.
I was wondering how that worked.
Yeah.
So they add them to the roster, so they receive services from the team, actually, basically. Okay.
Right.
So one of the things, you know, that we always talk about our statistics of sexual assault cases, and statistically, like we were talking about earlier, that 1 in 4 females have been sexually assaulted in childhood, and then 1 in 6 males have been sexually assaulted in childhood, and that's just what's reported.
Yeah.
You know, it is a scary statistic just to think that there's so many more that are not being reported, but it's good to know that there are resources that are helping to make that easier for children, so that, you know, it's one of the big things is to believe the children, but then also to have people in place such as yourself that can talk with them and make them feel comfortable when they're having to make this report, because I mean, it's scary enough for us as adults to have to deal with something like that, but to think about that children would have to make a report and how scary that must be for them.
Absolutely. And we have a program called Darkness to Light, which is a community education program. And the objective of that program is just to kind of educate community members on child sexual abuse and to educate adults about how to respond to that in a way that is conducive to children having a comfort level when they're disclosing.
Right, because that's not something that you're just comfortably going to want to tell someone, especially at that age, the embarrassment
Yeah.
Yeah.
and shame for them.
Yeah.
So you were saying, you said 246 children, is that in 1 year?
That was for last year, how many children in our last fiscal year, how many children were on the roster for our multidisciplinary team. 86 of those were new cases. And we have a number of other programs that I haven't mentioned. We also have an adult education program called WATCH, or What About the Children, and that's a parent education program that's geared towards parents who are co-parenting and maybe have been through a divorce or a separation. And that is aimed at educating parents on how children are impacted when there's conflict in a family.
That's cool.
We also
Is that a free, I'm sorry, is that a free program provided through y'all, or is that, how did someone get into that program?
Well, the WATCH program is something that any adult can walk in and ask to take. It costs $50. However, we do offer a sliding scale rate. So if a person is below our income bracket, which I can't remember off the top of my head, then they can pay as low as $25 to
That
take
sounds
the
like
class.
a really good program. So anyone could walk off the street and want to take that program, just to better their parenting skills, basically?
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, that sounds
That's really
great.
neat.
We also have a program called Jolly Jackets, and that's open for the public October through March. We collect coats, hats, mittens, and gloves. And anybody who needs a coat or a hat can just come in and get one. We ask that families not take more than 5 at a time, just because we want to make sure there's enough to go around. But that's something else that anybody can walk in and benefit from.
That's neat.
That's a really good program, too.
Mm-hmm.
So y'all got a lot of things going on out of that one agency. It sounds like y'all have a wonderful, wonderful thing going, definitely. And definitely helping a lot of families in the community.
Well, we really appreciate you being here today and sharing with us about the Child Advocacy Center. I think the work that you're doing is vitally important, and I'm glad that we get to partner with you all too when we're with our teams and coming through to utilize your facilities.
Well, and I appreciate being here today, and again, I'm thankful to be at the Child Advocacy Center and to witness what is done there for the community, and it's wonderful to work with you ladies.
All right, thank you.
Thank
We're going to
you.
take a commercial break and we'll be right back.
You have remote start, you have lane departure, parking assist, navigation, rear camera monitor on it, intelligent key, standard fog lights on your SL package now, alloy wheels.
Hi, this is Wes Mills with Jim Mills Nissan and Jim Mills Chrysler, Dodge, and Jeep. I'd like to invite you to visit with us. We have no games, no gimmicks. We stand behind our vehicles, we stand behind our service, and we stand with our community. Come visit us at 4760 Greensboro Road.
Are we insane? A very smart person once said insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. We say we want a clean community, but we keep on littering. We can't solve our litter problem by maintaining the status quo. Only you can make the difference. Stop the insanity. End littering now.
Auto Rehab in Stanleytown. Dependable and trustworthy. Auto Rehab, your area's certified auto repair shop, using state-of-the-art equipment for all your transmission and engine needs. From the simple oil change, tune-ups, to diesel repair for all makes and models. Auto Rehab is your local, dependable repair shop, located behind Stanleytown Elementary School. Just follow the signs to Auto Rehab.
You're watching BTW 21, your neighborhood network, the pride of Martinsville and Henry County.
1-800-656-9488. Commercial, residential, and vehicle. The mobile unit is just a call away. Offices located in Oak Level across from Lucky 2 Market on 220. Daniels Auto Glass, when only the best will do.
You're watching BTW 21, your neighborhood network, the pride of Martinsville and Henry County.
Just received a brand new 2013 Ford Raptor. Just only a few in the country. Come see it at Nelson Ford. This baby's got over 400 horsepower, top speed 200 miles an hour. You might ought to fact check me. But this baby is only one of a few. Come see it at Nelson Ford Martinsville, where everybody knows cars cost less.
Hello and welcome back to SAVE. We're really thankful that we were able to have Emma on from the Child Advocacy Center to talk with us about that. And as we've been doing for the last several weeks, each week we cover another step of the healing journey. And last week we talked about breaking your silence and actually retelling your story or reading your story out loud. But today we're moving into step 7, and that's pretty much just to address the fact that you may be at a point, if you're going through all the other steps, that you feel like you don't even want to go on. You know, oftentimes if you have become sick from some type of illness, then lots of times, you know, you hear the saying that you have to get worse before you get better. Sometimes it is very difficult to go through the healing process, But to know that that's normal is very important. It's important to know that there's going to be times where you're going to feel down or feel worse, and that you may re-feel some of the emotion. You might go into shock or denial again. You may feel angry about the situation, have some depression, and then other times, other days, you might feel really good and it's not really affecting you. What you need to know is that that is very normal. There's no set pattern, like we've talked about. There's no set time frame for people to go through this. This is a work in progress, and it's definitely a journey that you go on. Once you commit to healing and recovery, you don't want to turn back. Just keep pressing forward. But it's important that you treat yourself with respect and compassion as you try to heal. You wouldn't tell someone that is sick not to take care of themselves. You want to take care of yourself while you're dealing with this through this process. So some of the things that's important to do, it's important to use self-care. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself, eating well, getting plenty of rest, connecting with your family members that you still have a good, healthy relationship with, and feel good about what you're doing. It's important to sometimes take first things first. Sometimes it's helpful to stop things from spinning around, and you might have to say, okay, what do I need to do first to take care of myself right now? And it might be just as simple as getting something to eat or going to the bathroom, just taking a time out. It's important that you have an emergency list, and that would be the things to do in case you completely go mind blank and can't figure out exactly what to do. That you know you can go down this list of ideas so that you make sure that you're getting your needs met and taking care of yourself. Keep your journal, keep writing in your journal on a daily basis, and just kind of absorb into letting go of your feelings and your emotions, writing all of that down. Be gentle with yourself. Recovery is a process, and it definitely takes time. It's not going to happen overnight, and you're going to go through cycles, and you'll feel like you're spinning, and that's okay. That would be step 7 that we've just gone through. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself. If at any time you want to go back through the other steps and you need somebody just to talk to see what to do and how to do that, please call us at Citizens Against Family Violence. The number is 632-8701. My name is Sandy Dawson, and I'm the Sexual Violence Case Manager, and I would love to work with you on your healing journey. So thank you again for being with us, and we look forward to seeing you again next week.